What makes a professional community actually viable than just once-off events?
So the number one thing they're looking at is ROI.
And what are some of the mistakes that some of your clients and business owners make in this process? The sigh.
Businesses are no longer just putting out fires. They're actually creating proper structure, proper system, enabled by AI to scale even faster than we've done, right?
So right now, technology has actually evolved to a point whereby even the non-tech folks can use technology to improve their work, even their lives.
Every business starts with ambition, to build something bigger than where it began. But somewhere between the first international order and becoming a truly global business, things get more complicated. New markets, new systems, new ways of operating. And suddenly, growth isn't just about selling more. It becomes about making decisions across borders. So how do businesses keep moving? What breaks first? What separates businesses that expand from businesses that endure? Let's find out. This is Borderless Ambitions, the definitive podcast exploring how global commerce is changing through the real experiences of operators across Asia Pacific. No playbooks, no polished success stories, just honest conversations about growth, trade-offs, and what it really takes to build beyond borders. I'm Vanessa Ho. Welcome to Pioneer Borderless Ambitions.
Most people think corporate service providers are only there to help businesses incorporate. But today's businesses need much more than paperwork. They need trusted partners who can help them operate, grow, and expand. So today, we're asking, why does corporate service provider network exist and why corporate service providers are becoming more important than ever? Welcome to Borderless Ambitions by Pioneer. Today, we're talking about the future of corporate service providers and the crucial role of CSPN in its evolving industry. Joining me today are none other than the three CSPN co-founders, Eldred Wee, Darryl Wong, and Kang Yu Phang. Please introduce yourself, Kang Yu.
Hi everybody, I'm Kang Yu. I'm co-founder of CSPN. I also run Up Compliance, a Singaporean-based AML CFT consultancy that's focused on CSPs. So I was the former regulator from Accra, regulating the corporate service providers for close to 10 years. I'm very happy to be here today for this conversation.
Darryl.
Hi, I'm Darryl. I run an AI accounting firm since 2017 called Daisy Consultants, and I run an AI academy called Nexus Academy, and also I run an AI agency called Nexus Labs. And I'm very happy to be here to share more about AI transformations for CSP.
Amazing. Eldred.
My name is Eldred. Proud to name my company after my 44-month-old son, Eden. So I'm the founder of Eternity, and what we really do is mergers and acquisitions for Singapore SMEs that are often overlooked by investment bankers. But today is not going to be about Eternity, it's going to be about CSPN, and I'm happy to actually have my co-founders, Darryl and Kang Yu, with us to kind of actually dive deep into it on what the CSP means to us and what the CSPN means to all of us.
There we have it, our three musketeers. Let's begin. Every industry eventually reaches a point where practitioners, like some of you listening here, realize they need more than just individual expertise. They need a community that can learn together, raise standards together, and help shape where the industry is going. So I'm really curious how that journey began for CSPN. What inspired you to kickstart this network?
I guess it all started with, I have a soft spot for underdogs, minorities, and typically the smaller players actually need the most help to punch above their weight class. But it's often not given, right? Let's be real, right? The Singapore government can actually give a lot of grants, can actually help out a lot, but the smaller players are still lost. They are still firefighting. So I thought, why not actually come together, bring together events and community or corporate services that serve 70% of SMEs that are often the bedrock of the entire economy. So I think that was the original idea, to be very frank. But I guess for each of them, they actually have their own ideas why do I even want to come to CSPN and contribute? So yeah.
And Eldred, remind me, how many CSPs are there in Singapore?
3,200, 100 plus.
About it.
Wow, that's an incredible number. Now, Kang Yu, you came from a regulatory background. Where does this network stand in this whole ecosystem?
Okay, for me, I think, as a background with a former regulator, I do feel that the mandate by the supervisor is actually not so much of growing the industry, but more of getting them under supervisions, as well as making sure that all these corporate service providers do not get themselves inevitably misused for money laundering
So
purposes.
discipline master only, discipline master.
Yeah, you can say that as a discipline master, but of course, the government has been actually pushing out a lot of initiatives to help, and there has been a lot of private and public partnerships initiatives that has been rolled out throughout the years. Yeah. So, but then one thing that we thought that, or rather I thought that it is missing, is really a platform to bring the corporate service providers together, because like what Eldred has said, there are about 3,200 of CSPs, and they are all of varying size and scale. Even their expertise are different. So that's why we thought that if you have a platform that we can bring together all of these folks together in a room and have a conversation, that will probably be very useful for them.
So I think regulator is not just the discipline master, it's also the market enabler, and networks like CSPN is like the platform, the party where it all happens and conversations get started.
I do see CSPN as like a bridge to connect the government, the professional bodies, even those service providers who serve ancillary functions to CSPs together.
Darryl, you're a founder, operator, and practitioner yourself. What makes a professional community actually viable than just once-off events?
Well, half of the community here is they are accountants. So the number one thing they're looking at is ROI.
Very smart.
Numbers.
Very practical.
Numbers.
Will the community improve their ROI? Right? And so with such community, normally people will ask, why do you put all the same industry together so that they can compete with each other?
Yeah, are they selling to each other?
Yeah. So, but the truth is that the industry is very wide, and also every CSPs have their own niche. And so when we put them together, with or without CSPN, they're already having referrals around.
Yeah.
So clients that don't fit their size, their industry, they'll pass it.
Yeah, and I think like especially from a mergers and acquisition lens as well, the industry is actually, the market is truly big enough for everybody. I think that's point number one. Point number two, I think corporate services provider is very widespread, right? So there's corporate secretarial, there's accounting, there is going to be audit, CFO, even though it doesn't really fall into the specifically CSP or CSP Act. But all of the players actually do have their hyper niche. Whether is it an industry niche, whether is it a service niche, whether I prefer monthly clients, quarterly clients, do I prefer startups, or do I actually prefer MNC clients? Some of the corporate secretarial can't actually do MNC clients, even though they have the relationship with MNC clients. So being a referral partner actually eliminates the competitiveness, especially when we bring them into a community, right?
Yeah. So it also helps when we all already know each other in the community when we refer. So we know we are referring to a trusted partner.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah.
Yes, CSP relationship with a business is really long-term. It's truly a marriage. You want to work with people that you trust and you know, especially here in Asia where it's very relationship-based, right? So you're not going to refer business to someone that you don't really trust because it's reputation at stake as well. So I believe such a network also kind of foster new relationships and deepen existing relationships and trust too.
Yeah, to be very frank with you, the very first time when I wanted to do this, there was some CSPs that actually advised me, like the older ones, like, why are you doing this? The beauty about mergers and acquisition is the buyers don't know the sellers. If let's say you're building a community of them, everybody will know everybody. We don't even need to go through you anymore. So why are you really doing this in the first place? And I thought about it long and hard as well, right? Especially in the digital AI age, everybody wants something to be worth their time, worth their ROI, to be spending 3 hours on a physical place, going there and coming back. How does it all make sense, right? And I think to fight against like technology and AI is really more towards who can actually have a curated physical event to actually make worthwhile so that everybody benefit from the ROI, right? So individually, yes, CSPN is actually set up as a non-profit, a company limited by guarantee. And I was very proud of myself when I started see CSPN.org.sg, because not a lot of people have that org, right?
Wow.
Right? You didn't know that, right, Vanessa? Yeah. So like, I felt very proud when I had that, right? I felt even prouder when CSPN logo was at the Professional Service Center at Institute of Singapore Chartered Accountant, where they kind of actually launched that Professional Service Center with collaborators. And it just feels very surreal, right? But at the end of the day, you're right, Darryl. ROI is so important, especially for accountants and CSPs.
But I think maybe one of the additional things that what the value of CSPN brings is really the ability to connect to different aspects that actually a CSP might deal with. So for example, I myself would share on compliance related tips on how CSPs can meet their compliance requirements. And then Darryl would share on how he actually run his AI accounting firm and how AI is being embedded into his operations. And of course, we have Eldred who teaches you how do you sell a business, or how do you even want to buy other businesses.
So how is this relevant for business owners out there as well?
I think business owner benefit is because when CSP become more professional or more
coordinated.
More coordinated also. Yeah. So they actually get the efficiency whereby they receive more timely reminders and they can get better advice from CSPs, because the role of CSPs actually has evolved significantly with the introduction of the Corporate Service Providers Act in 2024 and then the regulations 2025. There are really very strict compliance requirements that's been placed on CSPs. And of course, with so many cases of money laundering, that has been reported and enforced in Singapore, business owners ought to be worried about how their businesses may inevitably be misused for money laundering. So CSPs who actually can be an advisor on that if they are, compliance savvy.
That's right. I think people are more aware that CSP don't just stop after incorporation, because today's business environment is truly very different. Companies are expanding faster, entering new markets earlier, even from day one. They might be starting a global business from day one, and also navigating increasingly complex regulatory and operational challenges.
Before we get back to the conversation, one thing we often hear from businesses growing internationally is this: growth isn't usually the hard part. Managing payments, currencies, cash flow, and operations across markets, that's where complexity starts to show up. Payoneer helps businesses simplify how they move and manage money globally, so they can spend less time navigating friction and more time focusing on growth. If you're building across borders and want to learn more, visit payoneer.com. Now, back to the show.
All three of you have seen so many examples and case studies. Eldred, do you have any examples of how corporate service providers have played quite an instrumental role in helping a business get more operationally ready, and especially if they're going cross-border?
Yeah, but before that, I'll probably actually throw a curveball question to you. What does CSP means to you? Because you wear so many different hats as well, right? What does CSP means to you?
I think it keeps my business intact, ready for my reporting standards, especially if I'm doing investments, which I do from a venture capital lens. Make sure we're in check, our paperwork is fine, we don't get fined by regulators like
ex-regulator.
And we're just proper, especially if we want to take institutional capital next time, we have our house ready in order.
Right, but the way that I'm hearing is actually more towards like house in order, good for investments. But when you're actually in the like startup or like the growth stage, the CSPs can actually be your best business partner and even a financing arm. So one example that I can give to you, because I speak to so many CSPs, right? Some of them is like, hey, Eldred, I don't want to be too close to you. If not, everybody know that I'm buying or selling. I say, hang on, it could be growing, right? So I go into a deeper connection with them. And one example that I can give you is, hey, Eldred, I'm not planning to buy any more companies anymore. I was like, oh, why? I invested in one of my clients because I was looking at their entire revenue, profit, everything. They just need a little bit of cash to actually go above and beyond, but they maxed out on their bank loan already. And I know the potential because I've been doing these client books for like years, right?
Well, so they invested off their balance sheet.
Yeah. So it's so crazy, And like oftentimes there are so many different kind of funding, right? Whether it's debt, whether it's equity, etc. But truth of the matter is, for the client, the SME, the CSP is their trusted business advisor. So imagine you have your trusted business advisor that advises you on your business, help your books get ready, due diligence is already done, and funding comes in fast. I don't think that's out there. And this is one of the many examples whereby CSPs evolved to not only just being a compliance tick the box, whereby it evolved into a business advisor, business partnership. So I always kind of actually tell everybody, don't be penny wise, pound foolish, because the smaller corporate services may cost more, but that business relationship of opening doors could be tremendous.
Speaking of opening doors, I did meet a couple of CSPs who are former VC private equity background before that do help their clients meet other investors, especially if they're foreign companies coming from China, US, different parts of the world, coming here to Singapore. They need to grow their capital. They do certain introductions as a huge value add. And this is value that money can buy.
Exactly.
Kang Yu, you wanted to add on something too?
Yeah, I meant for most entrepreneurs, right? So I'm taking a more compliance lens towards things. So beyond just a company, there are actually various business entity types, like a sole proprietorship, a business, and each of them comes with different compliance requirements. So many times, I've business owners coming to me say, "Oh no, I have something late. What do I need to do?" So then after you prop deeper, then you're like, "Oh, actually, I'm a sole proprietor, so I don't really need to file annual returns. So I don't need to conduct AGM. So what all I need to do is just to probably renew my business." So it gets a little bit conflated sometimes because of the variety of businesses that we have in Singapore. And each of them comes with very, very unique compliance requirements. So back to CSPN as our entity, a company limited by guarantee, we are actually going to be subjected. It is considered a public company. It is also going to be, it has audit requirements. So our books will need to be audited. Yeah, so I think these are the fine nuances that most business owners, they might miss if they don't engage a corporate service provider.
Now, Darryl, you run a CSP and you have quite a bit of an AI native hat as well.
Yes.
Do you think that technology had quite replaced this sort of service and value add right now? And what are some of the mistakes that some of your clients and business owners make in this process?
Uh,
The sigh.
Yeah. Deep thoughts.
Well, it's an interesting time now where AI now can finally do our work. Finally do our work properly. It's interesting to ask this question where AI will replace us or not. I don't know. Maybe it will. But in the shorter term, like maybe 3 to 5 years, I don't think that's going to happen. We will use AI heavily to service our client. And having already adopted AI since 2018, our clients already benefit. They are paying the same price for better service. I just give you an example. This year if we apply AI to prepare financial statements and the AI detects an error last year. That in itself is already giving more quality.
Whose fault is that? Is that the client's fault or your fault?
Well,
Previous provider.
I can only say that was a human error.
Oh,
Human error,
No, but
human error caught by AI.
Human error caught by
Yeah.
error. But on that note as well, right? I precisely to a point about like AI and like being human, right? Last Saturday, I wanted to block out the entire time to build AI system and kind of actually go on. Yeah, Darryl is my AI 师傅, right? Whereby he kind of actually tells me like, hey,
师傅.
yeah, he'll tell me, hey, okay, Hermes agent, loop engineering, blah, 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 right? So I dedicated the whole entire Saturday to kind of actually do that, right? Eden was with my mom, etc. And yet I got an unexpected text. And out of nowhere, it's like, sorry, my mom just passed away. Here's the wake details. And as I'm telling you now, I have goosebumps because like, I started to ask myself like, can AI really do this? Can AI attend a funeral for you? So without even thinking about anything, it's like, yes, I'm coming down right now. Cool. And I straight away went down. It was like Journey to the West. And being there, I felt so present. No phones, no AI, no nothing. Paying my respect, being there in person, understanding of that. In this day and age, I would say everything is moving so fast. CSPs always wanting their ROI. The fundamentals of everything still goes back to the same. Everybody just wants to be human. And as humans, we were made to connect. We were made to actually grow into communities and have events. And that's why CSPN is so special to me, because we are not only AI tech first or ROI focused first, but we are people and human at its core. And oftentimes, underdogs need to gather together to punch above their weight class. And this is some safe space that we can actually keep up, level up, and scale up. And the reason why they're frowning is because that's the tagline of Kang Yu and his up compliance for CSPN and CSP members and CSPN. So yeah.
That's right. I think all these stories remind us that the true value of a corporate service provider isn't measured by the paperwork that's completed, but it's measured by the confidence and clarity businesses gain as they grow. And often that means knowing when to bring the right partners into the conversation. So as businesses expand internationally, questions around payments, collections, and financial operations naturally become part of the conversation. And that's why strong ecosystem partnerships matter more than ever, just like Payoneer.
Today's conversation is a reminder that what happens behind the scenes often matters just as much as growth itself. Cross-border business means more than reaching customers. It means navigating payments, multiple markets, and operating at scale. Payoneer supports businesses with tools and services designed to help simplify global business operations and international growth. Explore more at payoneer.com. And now, let's continue.
Now, the role of the corporate service provider is evolving beyond incorporation, and we've talked about this quite thoroughly. And technology is truly driving this shift, shaping the next generation of the industry. So let's talk about that. So we talk a lot about tech. So what does the next generation of CSPs need to look like to keep growing and stay relevant?
Yeah, so I think from my end as well, there is actually a divide between the new generation of CSPs and the old generation of CSPs. So hear me out, right? The old generation of CSPs, the business owners, just go for long golf games, they go for dinner and drinks, they keep the relationship, and they pass everything on to their staff to do, right? Does that say the same for the new generation? Maybe, maybe not. Because I think the key thing is every business owner has a very strong why when they start their business.
That's right.
But they don't actually think about what am I actually doing it for and how do I actually pass it on, right? On mergers and acquisition, we always think about legacy. How do we kind of actually pass it on, etc. There are some business that are easier to pass on. What do I mean by that? Investor ready. SOPs are clear. It's not really founder dependent. The business can actually run on its own and ideally cash flow positive, right? As we are going towards a digital AI age, right? And Darryl will probably know best as well, right? There could be a lot of things whereby kind of actually AI say, I need to do this. This is currently the system. This is what it should be. But the older generation can't actually keep up. I even have a old school traditional CSP coming to me. It's like, oh no, learning AI is like a business on its own. Because I have to keep up, learn AI before seeing how do I apply to my business. And by then, I don't have the energy anymore. I don't have the passion anymore. I'm 50-something years old, going 60. I just want to retire. All right. So I do see a huge divide between the new gen and the younger generation, new gen and the older generation, whereby businesses are no longer just putting out fires. They're actually creating proper structure, proper system, enabled by AI to scale even faster than beyond, right? So that's what I see. Like Darryl, I'm pretty sure you're at the forefront of this, right? So what is your sense?
It's quite interesting that you say that learning AI is a business by itself. Because that is literally what I did.
Right.
Right. I set up another business just to do AI.
Yep.
Sign me up.
So the funny thing is that when I set up this second business to do AI, it wasn't actually to bring back the tech to my accounting firm, AI accounting firm, to do the tech, to do the accounting. So, but the thing is, when I did the R&D, everything after everything we R&D, we had to test it in the real world.
Use case, right?
Use case,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
So then we brought all the tech back and I attribute for my Daisy accountants. And we keep doing that and keep doing that. And so today we have a kind of AI native accounting firm. So, and that's kind of true because like if I had not set up the second company, I could not enable the first business.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of true. Looking back, it kind of happened naturally.
2020, yeah.
It kind of happened naturally. But do the other CSPs have the luxury
Of playing golf or what luxury?
of having another company, AI company,
Fair point.
just to bring back the tech to their first company? Probably not.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm also trying to help the other CSPs without having to set up their own company. Still can adopt AI for their company.
I'll never forget, like one of our joint events that we had where we had roughly 100 attendees. Darryl literally showed, hey guys, this is how I do text computation. Enter. And then like, the thing came out. Then everybody's like, typically you take my stuff, probably half a day to churn it out, and then like probably like 30 minutes for me to review. So now it's done, it's a click, and then I have to review. And then it's like, yeah. But Darryl's like, even I don't review. I create an AI agent to be the reviewer to review it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so it's really quite crazy
That's
times.
amazing.
Yeah.
And Kang Yu, from your perspective, especially after hearing his example on the text review, how has professional standard changed?
So for the accounting sector, there is actually a huge opportunity for AI adoption. And that is also one of our government strategy that actually focuses on the accounting and legal sector this year to promote AI fluency. So the professional bodies, ISCA, has actually did a lot of work on AI fluency issues, and they even start a kind of like very AI-centric program for accountants. So this shows that actually the professional standards are constantly being evolved to use AI. But personally, beyond just the professional standards, even for me operationally, I do make quite extensive use of AI, be it in terms of just managing my mailbox or even prompting me, helping me prioritize what are the areas that I need to focus on first. So those are actually very, very small tasks that people kind of overlook. And it makes a difference in how you think, how you even approach your day. So I think those are actually very, very good use cases. And it's not so difficult that, you need to be versed in SQL, Python, or all those coding language to be able to do that. So right now, technology has actually evolved to a point whereby even the non-tech folks can use technology to improve their work, even their lives.
Now, we can't talk about AI without talking about risk, especially when you are talking about this text review part, text computation, and then using an agent to review that. How do traditional business owners and even CSPs owners manage this risk?
I want to jump in here. Okay, so
yes, let the ex-regulator
say
jump
first.
in.
And this is exactly the circumstance how Darryl and I met. So he was presenting on compliance, how he used AI for compliance to do screening for his customers. So after his presentation, I immediately went up to him. I see that you have used AI. So what are the info sources that you use? So how do you actually check? Do you actually check the adequacy? Is it current? All the measures that are in place that for his agent. So it kind of was like, shucks, I'm just doing a presentation and now I'm being inspected. So yeah, that's a funny story of how we met.
So did he pass it away? Go back to the main question.
I wasn't a regulator already, so it's okay. Yeah.
No, the version has been upgraded by him. No problem. All this answered already. Yeah, but I think on that note as well, it's very different because we have a lot of revolution, right? We start off with like the industrial revolution, whereby everybody was doing stuff manual. We kind of have machines come in. Then we kind of actually have computer coming in, right? Whereby things speed up very fast. Then we actually have the .com revolution, right? And before, I guess, AI, there was also like the Web3 space, right? Now, for all of the past revolution, if you do not know anything, you have to learn. You have to find an expert. And the access to experts were from close to none all the way to readily available and it's very noisy. Now with AI, AI is teaching you how to use AI, right? And I think it's very different on how we do businesses, how CSPs can actually help businesses now as well. Because oftentimes now they are more wary, but it goes back to the same thing, right? Is CSPs only going to be your compliance tick the box, or could they be your business partner that turbocharge you? So yeah.
You were asking about the risk of using AI. I think the current stance that we have is that we do not offload risk to the AI yet. We still, as professional service providers, we still take on that risk until one day AI agents are separate legal entity.
Ultimately, somebody needs to be liable for everything, right?
Correct.
Need to sign a birth cert for them.
Correct. So if our client comes to us with an error, say they spot an error, we'll take responsibility for it. Yeah.
Got it.
If there's one thing this conversation shows, it's that ambition doesn't stop at borders. But global growth needs systems that can support it. Whether you're expanding internationally, working across currencies, or building operations across markets, Payoneer helps businesses like yours move with greater confidence. To learn more about Payoneer's solutions and insights for global growth, visit payoneer.com. And thank you for joining us at Borderless Ambitions.
Before we move on to our rapid fire segment, what do we get out of being part of the CSPN initiatives?
Yeah, I think for CSPN, we are very focused because we are focused on CSPs as our members, but CSPs do actually have quite a broad range of partners, professional bodies, and even vendors that actually serve it because it's a huge market, CSPs serving SMEs. So where CSPN really comes in is really a very safe space to learn AI, compliance, and M&A to really be ready for all of this to learn and grow together. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay, I think it's time for our rapid fire question. Just your first instinct and also one sentence if you can. Eldred, what's one market shift every CSP should be paying attention to over the next few years?
Investment from private equity are getting more and more because people realize how important CSPs are as well as the opportunities in SMEs. So I think both CSP and SMEs is so important. Therefore, that's the case.
Kang Yu, what's the biggest misconception people still have about CSP?
You will need CSPs beyond incorporation.
Darryl, what's one AI tool or capability you think practitioners should start exploring today?
Coding agents.
Ooh.
And to all in one sentence, what's the one message you hope listeners take away from today's conversation? Darryl first.
I think over the years, people has kind of devalued the service that corporate service provider provides, and they end up comparing prices, right? But now with the new AI age, I think corporate service providers can remain competitive and also still provide better value to their clients. So less grunt work and more consulting work, more value work. So I think all their clients will benefit from CSPs adopting AI.
Eldred, what's one thing that people listening should take away from today?
Talk to your CSP and ask them for money.
Wow, really?
Because you'll be very surprised whereby they are actually ready, but they don't know whether whether it is available. Some of the CSPs are a little bit
Yeah, and not just money, introductions, connections.
Yeah.
Now, Kang Yu, what's one thing you want people to get away from today?
For CSPs adopting AI, you can outsource the work, but you can't outsource the responsibility.
Oh, that's right. That's 100% right. Wow, what a way to wrap up today's conversation, which really reminds us that corporate service providers do far more than help businesses get started. They help businesses build strong foundations, navigate complexity, and grow with confidence. And communities like CSPN are helping practitioners learn from one another, raise standards across the industry, and prepare for the future together. Now, a huge thank you to Eldred Wee, Darryl Wong, and Kang Yu Phang for joining us today and sharing your insights and experience. And thank you so much for listening to Borderless Ambitions by Payoneer. Be sure to follow Payoneer for more conversations with industry leaders shaping the future of global businesses. We'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.
Growth beyond borders is rarely a straight line. It's shaped by decisions, trade-offs, and the willingness to keep moving, even when the path isn't fully clear. And behind every business expanding into something bigger are people learning, adapting, and building as they go. Thank you for joining us on Payoneer Borderless Ambitions. Don't forget to follow Payoneer on all social media platforms and subscribe for more updates. Until next time, keep thinking bigger, stay curious, and keep building beyond borders.